Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am so excited to be here this Friday, October 7th. Can't believe we're in October already, Kate. And I have another lady boss with me, Kate Hancock. And I am just so excited because today we get to talk about the entrepreneurial journey, which Kate is a master of. And she's not from the US, has an international background, and possibilities in Web3 and the metaverse, which is something y'all know I'm very excited about. So thank you so much for being here. As you come in, say hello. Let us know where you're listening in from. I know we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. So thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Kate, thank you so much for being here. I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about you and your story.
Yeah, well, Rachel, hi everyone. So honored to be here. I can't stop thinking about your art in the background. I thought Josh draw it. We're just chatting about it. Yeah, so honored to be here. Kate Hancock. I actually grew up in the Philippines. When it comes to my entrepreneurship journey, I started with e-commerce, $20, scale it to seven and eight figure business, and I was able to dabble in the hospitality, beauty, and real estate investing, and now doing a lot of advisory board position for the Web3 project. So honored to be here.
Okay, Kate. So let's first hear about this e commerce business. You were in beauty, you're in the Philippines. $20. Like, can you talk a little bit about that? Because there's so many of us listening, starting businesses. We're that hustle culture. We don't know what the heck we're doing. What did you do? How did you create so much out of so little?
Yeah, so Rachel, I was working odd jobs back in like early 2000. I was doing food sample at Costco. I have to tell you, it was popular not because they've noticed me, but what it was giving was free, right?
Yeah.
And it was actually in Austin, Texas. I was in Austin, Texas at Costco. So I started listing stuff online, like clearance items on at Costco. I listed it to Amazon and I sold two items that day. I ship it, and at $20 and scale it to $1 million within 12 months. I was doing product arbitrage early 2012, and it definitely is the right time at the right place and is utilizing it. At that time, I don't need to have inventory to ship the items. So I basically list items and then buy it when someone purchases it online and then ship it. So I was able to scale it that way with no funding.
So you kind of just saw a little hole in the system, Kate, the true entrepreneur.
Yeah, it was really possible back then.
Yeah.
This is when Amazon, they don't like, there's no prime, you can ship it a little bit late than normal, but because of the consumer behavior change, we need to have, the instant gratification. We need to have that items like the next day. So
Yeah.
it's definitely harder to scale to do product arbitrage. What I was doing in 2012, not be it's going to be harder to do it now at this current environment.
Yeah.
So mhm.
Yeah. So you had that business and then you're like, okay, I kind of know how to do this thing. I'm running a business now.
Well, I definitely got shut down by Amazon, Rachel. It doesn't come in all great, right? 2018, on our way to our wedding, Dan and I, Amazon shut down my account, lost $500,000 worth of inventory. They throw it in that trash, supposedly. And
Wow.
that's the reason why I'm really passionate about Web3, because, when you're doing business with a big giant, they can take it away from you overnight, right? So the whole concept of Web3 or the metaverse, where you have control over your data, I mean, you can do whatever you want with it. That's what we're hoping, the
Right.
decentralization world, right? But we all know the reality is the company who has the big funds will dominate the whole space, right? But yeah, it's so dangerous when you rely your business into um, whoever running your algorithm. Like if your business relies on Instagram, and they can take it away, shut down your account overnight, or your Facebook ads account. I mean, I've heard stories, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. So do you think decentralization is a reality? Like, really? Do you think we're going to be decentralized when we have massive Fortune 100 companies? And do we really want that?
Well, I think some part of it makes sense to be decentralized, but there are things in a world that it needs to be centralized, like privacy, your health records. It can't be open to everyone, right? I think half and half would totally make sense. You can't be like full on decentralization.
When I think about a full on, I think about like havoc in the world. Like, I don't know if we can physically, mentally, emotionally handle that because there's structures that are helpful to just our society. But it's interesting that you're bringing that up, which is sort of the endeavor that you've been shifting into the last few years, Kate. Web3, your Web3 advisor, you have your Metaverse XYZ company. Can you talk a little bit about that company, what you're doing, what's going on in this space in your mind?
Yeah, definitely. Metaverse XYZ, we do immersive events. We just did the Web3 LA a few months ago, and now we're heading to Asia, leading the Philippine Blockchain Week, where I'm very excited. It's 7 days. The Philippines government is behind it, tourism, the president will be speaking. So really, it really aligns with our mission to onboard as many people in the world to learn about Web3, blockchain, so everyone can win and thrive and make money doing something that you love. I think that's a
So
beautiful thing.
does Metaverse XYZ work with what's the goal of the company?
Yeah, so we do, we work with brands like Asia and the US merging together,
Got it.
getting the bridge in between Asia and the US, and for brands to open in the US and US wanting to have user base in Asia. As we all know, the Philippines is the number one crypto adoption in the world and the NFT wallet in the world. So it that's the reason why we're there, collaborating with the Philippine Blockchain Week as the bridge to US and Asia.
Wow, I didn't realize that. Why do you think that is?
Well, if you think about it, the gaming world is so ahead. When let's talk about Axie Infinity, a lot of majority of their users are from the Philippines. I mean, just easier technology wise, and Filipinos, English is the second language. It's easy for them to dabble into games, and so the adoption is like it's there when it comes to in the gaming world, and that leads to NFT wallets because they need to buy NFT to get access to the game. I know this whole play to earn program. Well, now it changed. We used to be play to earn, and then a lot of companies get in trouble doing that. So it's play and earn program. So there was a thing last year when Axie Infinity blew up, but again, no one can really perfect the tokenomics and the whole economy in the gaming world. So it's still evolving.
Absolutely. And so for the conference that you're putting on in the Philippines, it's going to cover the full gamut, though, of, you said, blockchain, Web3, metaverse, gaming. Is it all the pieces? I mean, what are you the most excited about when you think about, because there's so many things to be excited about. What are you really excited about with Web3 and the metaverse?
Yeah, well, I'm very excited about the future of e-commerce, right? The future of e-commerce is going to be more immersive. And Rachel, you're in the branding world. You're an expert and thought leaders in this one. But if you think about it for entrepreneurs, I mean, it's going to change the way how we do business. The strategy of the storytelling and well, let's define the metaverse first, because a lot of people probably like, I don't know, what is she talking about, right? So the metaverse, think of it, it's the next generation of the internet. It's you in a form of avatar where you can communicate, transact, and do business. So imagine you walking in a Nike store, you see all different shoes in a 3D form. You click with your digital wallet, Nike will ship it to your account. This is the Web 3.0 world. Well, right now we're in Web 2.0 where Amazon, it's flat, put it in your cart, Amazon ship it to your account. let's talk about it for a branding and marketing strategy perspective. It's going to change the way how we interact or how we even sell in this 3D world. That's a whole new business.
It is a
Um,
whole new business.
mhm.
Do
But
you
I
think?
don't want entrepreneurs to be scared, right? Like think of it, it's just a new vertical for you. You don't have to do full on because the risk is there. I mean, we don't have all the data in the world, but it's moving to so fast. A lot of big companies are already like putting their flagship there, but do only what makes sense to you and your company.
So if I'm a company and I'm thinking, okay, right now I go to the store and I buy a pair of shoes, or I go on, like you said, Amazon or whatever, and I buy the pair of shoes and it comes to my house. There's that physical world.
Mhm.
Then I go onto my Oculus, I'm cruising in whatever, and I go buy my pair of Nikes in the Nike store. Am I going to get that pair of Nikes in the metaverse? Or are you also thinking about it physically coming to my house?
Well, it's up to you as a brand or as you as a consumer. That's definitely two different ways of selling it, right? With the digital goods, hey, you want to utilize your Nike shoes in the metaverse, right? We
Right.
want to present ourselves the way how we wanted to. Hey, maybe you want to have a Gucci dress, and which Gucci is so smart as a company. Back in November, like about end of last year, they created their Gucci garden, and now this kid's playing Roblox, convincing their mom to buy them a $750 Gucci belt, right? Like, how smart with that for a company to be there, put a brand to their future customer.
Because when you're in the garden, you can get that belt, but it's cost $750 in the
No,
metaverse.
what I mean is Gucci did a lot of activation in Roblox.
Because yeah,
They're promoting it now, like basically putting it everywhere. So now all the kids, their future consumer, really knows Gucci now, like 8, 12 year old. Like,
right.
how smart is that when it comes to company strategy to their future customer?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, we think about that because hi Josh, hi Eric. Um, you know, we have a 13-year-old and 10-year-old, and Jaden, the 13. I mean, he loves going on the Oculus and playing his games. And like, I go on. I'm trying to get into it, Kate, but I can't. I have to be honest. It makes me still a little bit dizzy. Like, I still have the old person, I think, syndrome.
Well, it's actually common for you to feel that in the beginning, but Rachel, you don't have to be in the Oculus to experience the metaverse. You can do it with your phone and computer now. It's not limited to just have an Oculus. You can
True.
just go straight to your desktop and experience the Web3 or the metaverse.
Is that Josh? Yeah, they'll want the Gucci. I can only that's just you that wants the Gucci shoes, honey. Um, but yeah, it is a really interesting idea. Kate, when you think about the entrepreneurs, or if you're part of a business today, and let's say, at least Gartner's data says within 10 years, we're going to start to see really a big difference in metaverse, the implementation and human augmentation, right? So, like, okay, I have 10 years. Like, what should I be doing now? What should I be thinking about now to make sure I'm not left behind? What would be your advice?
I think for everyone who's really, have no clue about the metaverse, I think the first thing that you can do is open a wallet and explore, maybe spend $5 into a digital goods. Then so you kind of have an experience of what it is buying um, in the Web 3.0 world. I think that's the first thing. But again, Rachel, think about it. Early to 1990s, who would thought you need a personal website, right?
Right.
Right? Like no, like now
Wasn't
you
even
to
right.
have to, right? And the people that's ahead of the game definitely get rewarded. because there, when it comes to SEO, I don't know what it's like. What is that like in the SEO world in the metaverse, right? Is there going to be, I mean, with the blockchain where everything is recorded, definitely you get rewarded if you're there. Hey, you're there in the beginning because everything is transparent. But I think, to not overwhelm everyone, just, read a book and learn about it or open a MetaMask. And again, do only what makes sense to you and your business.
Yeah. What have you dabbled in that you've been really excited about to give people some ideas?
Yeah, so with my background in e-commerce, and I'm involved with this company called Lore, LORR. So we customize your own metaverse retail store, and so have activation there. New vertical, like I said, it's good to have your representation in the metaverse. I was shopping at Zara the other day, and they have a metaverse site in their own store. They have a Y2K, and it was like buy digital goods. It was like, wow. If you think about it, Zara's already there.
Yeah.
Big brands are already there. I mean, you see ads, Amazon trying to onboard entrepreneurs. So it's really something that we really need to pay attention. You don't really have to jump on it, but you really need to know enough to be aware of which part of your business that you need to upkeep, because not everything will be disruptive, right, to you, but like you just need to get prepared. Like if you're in the real estate business, we're thinking about 2032, everything will be recorded in blockchain. So if you're a broker, you know you might not be needed. Or what can you do to prepare right now, because everything, permits and licenses will be recorded on a blockchain. So things like that.
Yeah, real estate's gonna be pretty disrupted. What else do you think? Like law, lawyers and things like that?
Yeah, I think like the permitting, the blockchain technology will really makes it more efficient. Like if you think about it, like especially the other countries, let's talk about other countries. Like applying a loan, you need to have several. At least here in the US, we're so advanced. Like you just need to sign and open a bank. Some other countries, for you to open a bank, you need to have like 30 different pages of stuff, right?
Wow.
So that technology, I'm really excited. And when it comes to, let's talk about social impact, Rachel, for blockchain technology, this will help eliminate corruption because you know where the money goes, who's getting it, because everything is transparent. Well, that's what we're hoping for, but like, let's see how's that gonna be, right?
Yeah, and making sure you're sending your money to the right people. Oh my gosh, all those the stories, right, of people sending money. I mean, that happened. Josh was hacked and somebody he basically was saying pay me in his Instagram messaging, in
Those
crypto,
are
and
dangerous.
I know,
Like
and
they're
somebody sent the
so
money.
Yeah, they're so sophisticated as far as copying brands. It would look so identical. As we all know, when it's popular, you'll see more scammer, right? They're
Yeah.
even way better. But yeah, you have to be very careful, like clicking any link, because they could, get into your wallet.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the challenges right now with just the branding of metaverse and web3, and because there are so many scammers and the crypto market's taking a hit, and it's like the headlines, are not so great, right? Kim Kardashian getting hit with 1.2 million, from the SEC, and it's like I feel like people aren't really talking about the bigger story that you're talking about here, right?
Yeah, I think
Um,
the news, they're there to sell the negative news, right? That's
right.
their business. But let's talk about the other side of the beauty of Web3 and the technology, where healthcare, they were able to utilize the virtual reality technology to separate conjoined twins. I mean, that's the beauty of the technology. And doctors were able to operate patients without being there. I mean, think about it. People from other parts of the world who are like really sick, and they can get help from utilizing this technology. And let's talk about onboarding new employee. You can utilize simulations. I mean, the metaverse is so massive. There's different areas to it, and then there's There's of course the blockchain, the crypto. What you're hearing is all that stuff, but there's a lot of beauty. I mean, like any other technology, Rachel, there's the good and bad and the ugly, right?
Of
Um,
course.
yeah. So, but yeah, we all hear it. But let's talk about Kim Kardashian because that's really fascinating to me. Um, I'm wondering. I'm kind of curious how SEC really like went after her as big as I mean, as big as Kim Kardashian. She get hit with fines, but Elon Musk does it all the time. Like, think about his tweet and then it blow up like stock or whatever, right? It's the same
Right.
thing, chilling. But a lot of celebrities been doing it.
Yeah.
In the Web 2.0 world, Web 3.0 world, like what makes sense now, right?
Yeah, I don't know, Kate. It's such a good point. It's
Mhm,
such a good point. And all that the one thing that I've always heard from the, experts is just to continue to do our research, to know what you're getting into before you just send money, buy this, that, like, and it's hard because sometimes there isn't that much information out about projects
mhm.
and companies. But it is interesting how they're making an example out of her. And I think there is a reason for that.
Yeah, I probably would like. Can you imagine how the other feels? Like, oh my god, I'm gonna be in trouble pretty soon.
Oh
But
yeah, people are like, shit, like let me go check all my stuff.
yeah, but at the end of the day, like the creators economy, right? A lot of VCs like A16Z just pour $8 billion into this angle of Web3. I mean, creators economy meant for all of us to utilize our content and data to make a living, right? But I mean, but then celebrity gets ahead. Of course, they will get ahead, right?
Right.
So where's the you know, I don't know what's the future like, but I know it's low barrier to entry to a lot of people. But we all know the presence once you have the Kardashian or any celebrity, it's easier for them to promote their project than you
Of
know.
course. And that's where, the followers and the whole what we've created in web 2, social media,
Mhm,
influencers, all of that. Let's hope it serves in a positive way as we revolutionize and move into the next stage of the internet.
yeah.
Um, but jury's still out, Kate. Jury's still out.
What?
We're not
Yeah,
sure yet. We'll
yeah.
we'll 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 talk again in like 5-10 years and we'll see what hell's broken loose. So Kate, we have a few more minutes together. I have like one or two more questions, which is a lot of conversation going on right now, right? In terms of the economy, global economy, and from everything we can imagine, from war to disasters to this, everything, recession. And so, people are heightened and none, we don't know exactly what's coming. And here you're diving super deep, going to the Philippines, but I mean, you're just like kind of continuing, right? Like we're still moving forward. What's your thought and advice to people that are kind of not sure what the next year or two are going to bring? How do we sort of prepare? And what are you staying focused on?
Yeah, I think I've said it earlier. Just do, a lot of research and read, LinkedIn is my favorite source of Web3, education and resources. There's a lot of companies really utilizing VR technology into advancing instead of you creating a car. Normally would take you like 3 years. Now with the new technology, you can do it in 9 months. I mean, there's a lot of those things that you can really utilize what makes sense to you that makes your company more cost effective, efficient, and it makes sense, right? Just really, I mean, like again, there's so many layers of the Web3. If you focus into the crypto and the NFT, which kind of died down, we just talk about it. PFP, I think that's already dead. I think the NFT world makes sense as the technology for utilizing it as a reward program or like think of it as Ticketmaster. I think that really makes sense. The ownership piece and royalty fees that make sense, but the cartoonish, hey, I have the best cow, right? Like I think that's already gone 6 months ago. and it's moving really good. But you still can utilize NFT in that world where it's trackable ownership and again loyalty reward program. Starbucks just get involved into that. um just really get educated. I mean, I know a lot of us lost a lot of money, but I'm sure it will turn around. But just be very smart and only dabble what makes sense to you. It's tempting because that FOMO is so addictive.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Are there any people that you look to as really reliable sources for information that you can share?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to VR, I go to Jeremy Dalton. He's the head of the PwC, and he's so eloquent and knows what he's doing. Um, Go to his LinkedIn. Kathy Hackle always really heavy, in the Web3. I think she's really focusing more in the digital and in retail and the e-commerce world. I mean, I think you really should follow another Sandra H. She's really more behind the technology, but yeah, those three are my favorite to
Okay.
look for
I
on
love
LinkedIn.
that. I
Yeah.
saw Kathy. I'm a big fan of hers after seeing her at Consensus. So I know she has her book out too. So that's great advice. And what you're talking about is that LinkedIn is your key resource, And here at Standout Authority, LinkedIn is our power platform. That's what we focus on. That's where we think the real business conversation is happening. And Kate agrees, right? Especially when we talk about possibilities in the metaverse and Web3 and making sure that we're not, seeing smoke and mirrors and getting, go to LinkedIn and this is the place, this is where it's at. And, I can't, I'm just saying.
I do like the LinkedIn environment though. I'm not a big fan of Twitter Space. It kind of reminds me of Clubhouse, which by the way, we met on Clubhouse.
We did, we clubbed. I don't club very much anymore.
Yes, like yes.
All my energy was sucked out of me.
Well, the rise of the the funny thing is the audio app kind of reminds me of NFT. You just like there, like it
Addicted.
was
Yeah.
addictive, and then boom, it dried up.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
No
But there's
different.
like a good place for audio. There is a good place. It just doesn't need to be like everything in every moment like
Yeah.
we were doing back in the day. But Kate, I know you have to go, and I'm so grateful for you for being here. I think this is fantastic information and knowledge. Kate, where can people keep up with you? Obviously on LinkedIn. Is there anywhere else or things you want them to check out?
Yeah, absolutely. KateHancock.com. And I do talk a lot for entrepreneurs, like, the metaverse, why entrepreneurs should care. I have a lot of data and statistics and what's the future ahead, you know, statistics that make sense to us entrepreneurs to dabble into. Yeah, or I'm super active on LinkedIn. So honored to be here. And hey, Josh, hi, and Eric and Dan. Here you go.
Yeah.
We always have
Amazing.
friends there in the corner. So appreciate it.
Yes. Well, thanks for being with us, Kate. Thank you so much for everyone who's watched. I'll be back next month. Of course, reach out to me, reach out to Standout Authority. We'd love to support you in any way. And with that, have a great, great weekend.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.